The skies over Washington, D.C. were filled with the sights and sounds of a bustling city on the evening of January 29, 2025. But at 8:48 p.m., tragedy struck. An American Airlines plane, Flight 5342, collided with a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter. The collision occurred over the Potomac River, just a short distance from Reagan National Airport. This horrifying event sent shockwaves through the nation. It was a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the unpredictable nature of accidents. The American Airlines flight, a Bombardier CRJ-700 regional jet, had been en route from Wichita, Kansas. It was on its final approach to DCA, carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew members. The Black Hawk helicopter, a UH-60 model, was on a routine training mission. It had a crew of 3 experienced soldiers from the Army's 12th Aviation Battalion stationed at Fort Belvoir. Both aircraft were following standard flight patterns when the collision occurred. The immediate aftermath of the collision was chaotic. Witnesses reported seeing a fireball erupt in the sky as debris rained down into the icy waters of the Potomac River. Emergency responders rushed to the scene, but their efforts were hampered by the darkness and the frigid water temperatures. It quickly became clear that there were no survivors. The crash claimed the lives of all 67 people aboard both aircraft. Among the victims were several members of the U.S. figure skating community, including world champion pair skaters Evgenia Shishkova and Vadim Naumov. Also on board were rising stars Spencer Lane and Jinna Han, along with their mothers, Christine Lane and Jin Han. The skating world was devastated by the loss of such talented athletes and dedicated individuals. The crash also took the lives of 4 members of Steamfitters Local 602 Union, who were returning home from a work trip. One of the pilots, 28-year-old Samuel Lilly, was remembered by his father as a kind soul with a passion for flying. The immediate response to the crash was swift and extensive. Multiple agencies, including the DC Fire and EMS, the Coast Guard, and the National Transportation Safety Board, converged on the scene. A large-scale search and rescue operation was launched, but it was soon transitioned into a recovery effort. The murky waters of the Potomac, with an average depth of 24 feet, made the recovery process challenging and emotionally draining for the first responders. The NTSB, the agency responsible for investigating civil transportation accidents, took the lead in the investigation. Their team of experts will analyze the wreckage, air traffic control recordings, and weather data to determine the cause of the crash. Preliminary reports are expected within 30 days, but the full investigation could take months or even years to complete. The black boxes, which contain flight data and cockpit voice recordings, are crucial pieces of evidence that have not yet been recovered. The tragic crash ignited a political firestorm and blame game. Former President Trump, in his characteristic style, seized the moment to criticize his political adversaries. He made baseless accusations about Democratic policies and diversity efforts at the FAA, alleging they had undermined safety standards. These remarks were quickly rebuffed by former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg and other officials who upheld the FAA's safety record during their administration. The crash also reignited debates about the safety and expansion of Reagan National Airport. DCA, situated just across the Potomac River from downtown Washington, D.C., operates under strict flight restrictions due to its proximity to sensitive government buildings and monuments. Some believe these restrictions contributed to the crash by creating a more congested airspace. Others argue that safety should remain the top priority, even if it means limiting airport operations. As the investigation continues, the nation grieves the loss of 67 lives. The tragedy stands as a solemn reminder of the critical importance of aviation safety and the necessity for thorough investigations to avert future incidents. The memory of those lost in the crash will forever be etched in the hearts of their loved ones and the nation.